Welcome to another Airbrush Asylum video. This is part 1 of the wedge-tailed eagle tutorial. You'll notice here that I've printed the reference out to scale. This artwork's going to be airbrushed on the front fender of a Harley Trike. And I've just done it in black and grey. And I've done numerous copies so that I can make up a few different paper templates. You can see I'm working on the eye here. I'm also going to cut out some of the darker shading as well as the feathers. Then I'll have another one that I'll utilize for the highlights. You'll see them used throughout this particular tutorial series. The good thing about using paper templates is that it allows you to mark out your design. So essentially you use these templates to create your basic outline, some of your shadows, your highlights, all your key areas, so you know where to then freehand airbrush utilizing your reference going forward. But it allows you to do that with just the paint rather than transferring the design on with a pencil or something else, especially when I'm working on an automotive surface like a Harley. You want to make sure that you keep the surface as clean as possible, and utilizing this method allows me to do just that. Okay, so now that I've got a selection of my paper templates, you can see I'm starting with the negative template, and I'm just going to spray a base color down on top of this base coat, the existing base coat of the Harley. Now that base coat has been wet sanded, so just the clear has been wet sanded, and I'm working on top of that utilizing my Trident airbrush paints. The first Trident color that I'm using is sand, and I'm going to spray in the complete base of the eagle, and I'm avoiding some of the beak area because I'm going to use a Payne's grey to get the beak sort of marked in roughly where it's got to go. You'll also notice that I've got numerous little magnets holding the paper into place, so it's just a good method. Rather than relying on tape. You can notice I've got the tape around the border just to stop and control my overspray, but essentially the little magnets are holding everything down for me. So using a light grey now, so this is white mixed with Payne's grey, and all my colours are mixed with some reducer. So the base colours I don't tend to run as thin as I normally would for my detail tones. So they'd be closer to a sort of 60-40 mix. I'd say about 40% paint, 60% reducer. The reason for this is I want to get a bit more coverage and just quicker coverage. Alright, so running the paint slightly thicker will obviously allow for me to do that. Okay, so now that I've got my base marked in, I'm going to remove my negative template, so the negative paper mask. And you can notice there that I've got a little bit of overspray. Obviously it's still a loose paper mask, even utilizing the magnets. You will still get some sort of underspray. So I'm just going to clean that up using a cotton bud, or for some of our overseas viewers, a Q-tip. And I'm using a water-based degreaser, and that's just taking the Trident paint straight off, so that little bit of that overspray is coming off with ease. And because the base color has already been clear coated, it protects it as well, so you're not upsetting the base. So it's a good thing to keep in mind. If you have made mistakes, you can utilize that method. So now I'm putting another paper mask on, and I'm going to start with a sepia, and I'm going to spray in some of my darker values. So as you can see here, I'm spraying in the eye and certain other areas that I've cut out on the head of the eagle. So I'm just going to use this template to put all those bits in, and then I'm going to move on to another paper template very soon. Okay, so now removing that paper template, and I'm going to lay on another one, and that's going to allow me to add in even more detailing. So it's a very step-by-step process. Obviously a design like this, it's a little bit more complex, so I'm using more of these paper templates to get some of those real defined sharp edges as per the reference. So now utilizing my white, I'm going to airbrush in some of these white feathers. Okay, so now coming in with a burnt sienna. This is Createx illustration colors. And I'm just following my reference and spraying this particular tone into those feathers that require it. So you'll notice how I've made numerous little flaps within the paper template, so I can sort of lift them up and then utilize them as well as a positive mask if I need to. So they've got dual uses. And just using my knife there, I'm just cutting a bit of a slit in up near the beak area, and I'm going to utilize white and add in that highlight, that defined highlight, which basically shapes the front of that beak. The airbrush that I'm currently using is the Iwata CMC Plus Micron. This runs a 0.23mm needle nozzle setup. And if you're interested in checking out any of the products used within this video, I'll pop some affiliate links in the description below, and that'll give you more info, or you can also decide to purchase using those particular links, which will help to support this channel. You don't pay any extra for the item, it's just going to support us with making these videos. And I do hope that you're enjoying this video so far. If you are, feel free to give it the thumbs up, share it out to anyone else that you might feel would benefit from this particular video. And if you haven't already, feel free to hit subscribe, tap on that bell icon, and that will notify you every time I put out new content. So you can see what the stencils have created for me so far, and I'm now utilizing white, and this is in the Awada CMSB micron. This particular airbrush runs a 0.18mm needle nozzle setup and is a side feed airbrush. You'll notice that I hang my trigger finger over the trigger so that it's sort of a different way of controlling the level of detail, but it definitely works for me. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but give it a go. And I am up nice and close, pressing down on that trigger and just pulling back ever so slightly to create those real fine dots and texturing. So there's going to be quite a few layers to create a realistic wedge-tailed eagle artwork. So even some of these areas now, there will be multiple going back and forth with different tones to build it up and really create that depth. So essentially I'm using the white to create my highlights, but also a base color for any other tones that I want to add. So having that Payne's grey and the lighter grey towards the front of the beak, that gives me a nice foundation. So it kind of acts as a mid-tone. So when I add my highlights, as you can see, it's already where I've stippled just above the eye there, you've already got that light grey showing through, so it sort of takes that step out of it rather than just starting with a complete white base. And also putting in those darker tones, it gives me not only a focus of where those tones need to go, but also it's starting to really shape the eagle a lot quicker. So in addition to utilizing the paper templates as well as freehand airbrushing, I'm also using some freehand templates. So the template that you can see here that I'm using for the highlight in the eye is Texture 1, and this is by AirShot stencils. And you'll also see me from time to time use some of my fire tool templates, also available either from myself Australia wide, so airbrushasylum.com.au, or AirShot stencils, they ship worldwide. Using another template here, a real handy one. This is by Rhino Templeton. This is an art tool template, and it's the Blasted Circle FX one. Again, I'll pop links to all of these products in the description below, so it's nice and easy to go check them out and find them. So you can really see now, utilizing the white, how much the eagle head is already coming to life just with that first tone of white. And obviously as the tutorial series moves on, I'm going to build more and more detail on top of that. Okay, so that's pretty much where we're going to leave it for part one of this three-part tutorial. I do hope that you enjoyed checking out this one. Be sure to watch part two, and until next time, go grab your airbrush, do some amazing artwork yourself, and I'll see you again very, very soon in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.